So guys, it's the new year, and you probably have a bit of spending money, maybe from Christmas, maybe from New Year, and you might be thinking, how can I invest this money into my photography career? Well, if you remember back a couple weeks, we were discussing the different techniques you can use if you have a gimbal, or if you don't have a gimbal, when we were transitioning from Halloween to Christmas. And I may be thinking, well, I've got money for it, do I buy a gimbal? And you might be thinking, is it still worth it? Well, I thought, why don't we have a little interview with my cameraman today and just get his ideas basically on, is it worth it, is it good, and just all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break this episode, and you know what, we'll just get his ideas on this, like I just said. So let's go, pick him up, and let's get talking about his ideas. Right, so we're here with Vishal, main cameraman for these videos, and also Vishal is the one with the gimbal, so we're going to ask a couple of questions.
That's right.
And see what's going on.
Yeah, I have done them before. Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of those things where, with a little bit of practice, I don't know why I'm smiling. There's one of those things with a little bit of practice. Yeah, you can definitely get used to them pretty fast. I mean, the panning, it's really not that difficult. I think most of it just comes down to like your center of gravity with the movement. So try keep it smooth and practice, and it should be all right. I think the biggest problem that you're gonna get probably won't be the movements themselves, but rather where you're doing the movement. If you're doing a movement on maybe like a cobbled path or something like that, and it's wet, you might slip a few times, and it's when you're focusing on the camera. I mean, I'm a terrible multitasker. I was slipping a bit with the shot behind the fence. Every time I kept crossing my legs, I kept slipping. Yeah. So I guess that's just, yeah, you just gotta pay a bit more focus to what you're doing with your feet and the camera. I think it depends on the shot, to be honest. I think the gimbal movement looked really good for certain shots. I think shots where you're kind of limited by the space that you're acting in. So the one by the feet, it's kind of, obviously we have to use a skateboard for that because it's kind of awkward to get that low. But then using a skateboard, you might get a bit more of a wobble than you want. Yeah. So I guess that definitely a gimbal would be better. But for the panning, I think definitely a camera is more than good enough. Well, a camera is good enough for all these shots, but I think a gimbal can just obviously help make things a little bit smoother. I'd definitely say you need more preparation with the camera, with the DSLR. With the gimbal, you really don't need as much, but at the same time, obviously you got to plan your shots and whatnot. Yeah, a gimbal's a bit more touch and go, for sure. But a DSLR, if you do some decent planning, and also expect to get a few shots wrong and try it a couple times. Honestly, I think you could wait, definitely. I think a DSLR works really well, and it looks better in some shots because of the camera quality. I mean, I guess if you've got a great gimbal for your DSLR, that's fine. But it's not needed, but it definitely helps. But I would say get better with the camera yourself first, and then purchase a gimbal after a little while. If it really feels necessary and you've got like this amazing shot that you know you can't do without a gimbal, then it makes sense to invest. But you can pretty much get around 99% of things by being creative and thinking about what you can do. Kinda. That's a bit of a vague answer. I'd say yeah. Generally, yeah. Thing is, I say yeah because I get a lot of enjoyment and use out of it, but at the same time I say that knowing that I don't really need it. It definitely feels like more of a, for a lot of the stuff that I do, it feels like a bit of a luxury product. But if I was doing a shoot where you're doing a lot of movement, it'd definitely be an amazing investment. I think that's the best way to phrase it, probably. Depends on what you're doing, essentially, I guess, yeah. I mean, if you're doing, let's say a lot of your stuff is going to be within your own house, you really don't need a gimbal. And if you were doing some good movement shots, you can get around that. But definitely, if you require a lot of movement or motion, or if you want to do something really funky at home, then maybe then. If I went shot by shot, the panning and the tilting, definitely easier on the DSLR. The rest of the movement shots were definitely easier on the gimbal. When you're in a stationary spot, DSLR, you're moving, gimbal. I think honestly, I'd only go for the gimbal just because it's funner to use.
I think it makes sense, you know. It is part of, I guess, the job, isn't it? You want to enjoy your work, so if it's fun to use, it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, but can't go wrong with the DSLR. But yeah, overall, if it's clinch time, I'd take the gimbal if it was there. Yeah. But the DSLR is good shit. If you have the income to buy a gimbal, I would definitely say get one. You can get some pretty good gimbals for a decent price. I was using a phone gimbal, which you might be pulling back a bit and thinking, a phone gimbal? But if you do your research, you can get some really good stuff, and you can essentially use that for certain shots, and then use the DSLR for your main shit. That's kind of what I do. So if you can get a gimbal, get one. If you can't, it's definitely not something you should feel bent out of shape about if you don't feel like you've got the income for.
Yeah, thanks man for having the interview.
But nah, it's all good. I always enjoy helping out on this stuff, and this one was a fun shoot as well. So yeah, no problemo.
Do you want to give the outro?
Oh, what should I say for the outro? Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like, subscribe, and share this shit. No wait. Like and subscribe, guys. Hit the like button. We'll play some funky music right now. Subscribe to my boy AJ. He actually does, jokes aside, he does some really good content. And at the end of the day, this is all tips to make you a better camera man or woman. Definitely, I think it's a great channel. I hope you like the video. Bit of a cameo, I guess, from me, for I guess, yeah.
My usual photographer, videographer.
And you can see from the way I talk, you can see why I stay behind the camera. That's right. And yeah, thanks for watching.
And now, smack the camera with the skateboard.